When I was applying to university, I attended 3 different interviews. I went with Southampton in the end because I absolutely love the city. It was a lot clearer that I'd have like a good opportunity to integrate with different courses, different people, whereas at other universities I kind of felt that I wouldn't get that same opportunity because the campuses were so far from each other. At Southampton, I had a group interview and a interview where there were 2 people interviewing me. I found it a lot more pleasant here because my other interviews were mini interview where we were rushed about. We didn't really know what was going on. It was a bit chaotic. And then my other interview, I just got shouted at and told all my opinions were wrong. But the interviewers here were really, really lovely. They really gave me the opportunity to talk, and they actually looked at my personal statement and talked to me about it, which really made me feel like they actually cared about the character that I am rather than just my grades.
I think it's inherent in the personalities of a lot of people that do medicine is that everyone is competitive, but I would never say... There's times maybe when I've thought to myself, oh, you know, that person got 90 and I didn't. But actually, I don't think it is competitive at all. I think people are really supportive of each other. And I actually feel a lot less competitive now than when I was in a school environment. But I don't know how you feel.
I felt when I was picking my universities that it wasn't as sort of everyone's looking at the numbers and I want to be the best, which I quite liked. Like everyone's competitive within themselves, but it's not constantly a competition, which I think is quite good for sort of everyone's general welfare, not having to be as stressed about it as maybe we could be.
There's a good mix of people. Some that are competitive, and then like some that are more laid back. So actually, like altogether, it's I wouldn't say it's a competitive atmosphere. Yeah.
I did a foundation year, the BM6 year, which is slightly different to the 5-year course in that the first year that we only have lectures about 3 days a week, and then we have placements kind of every 2 weeks. So the work-life balance is kind of purposely made easier in the foundation year, and that's meant to allow you to ease into university, but also to be able to have a part-time job if you need to. So the work-life balance in BM6 was quite good. I didn't really feel like I was overwhelmed at any point. The advice I'd give someone in first year in terms of work-life balance, I think, is to make sure you have stuff that is outside of medicine, so things that break up your kind of week. Because people can get very like kind of bogged down in, okay, I need to do this lecture and do that lecture and all these things, and it's hard to keep up with the lectures anyway. So you get quite stressed and you get quite in your own head about it. So even if it doesn't feel like you should be spending leisure time doing other things, I think it's definitely something that helps you be more efficient in your work itself, and therefore kind of wins you time back, if that makes sense. So I think having things outside of medicine is really, really important.
MedSoc is one of the biggest protocols, I think, for me personally, when it comes to pastoral support or welfare support, because there is a specific welfare rep elected from the student body to be there, to be your voice. And initially it might be daunting for you to go to a member of staff with something, but it allows you to go through a step-by-step procedure, and they will always help you out and help you understand which pathway to take if you are struggling with something. I mean, I remember in my first year, the MedSoc office was always open at lunchtimes, and you could go in just for a coffee with whoever's in there. And there were even specific welfare drop-ins during exam periods.
Before I even arrived here, I was already given my MedSoc parents, who were a point of call if I wanted to ask anyone about things to prepare for in Freshers Week, socially and academically. I've still got a really good relationship with my MedSoc mum. I've got a new stepfather now, and it's a really nice way to meet people in years above you, sometimes share notes, and just have someone to go to if you've ever got any problems within your year, because you know that they've already gone through it themselves. I love MedSoc parents. I think they're so great.
I quite like the way they teach our modules as system-based. So we look at sort of the anatomy, the physiology, the pathology of a certain organ system or condition together, and then move on to the next thing, rather than, I know that certain universities choose to just do anatomy for a period of time and then they move on to something different. But I like it being integrated like that.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I think like picking up on the word integration, like the way that you do from like day one, essentially. I think 2 weeks in, I went and watched a birth at Princess Anne. That was super cool. So integrated is a good word.
I chose Southampton because of the sense of community that I got when I came to the interview. Everyone spoke to everyone was friendly and nice, and I wanted to be part of a bigger community. My first advice would be to definitely apply to Southampton, come to an interview and meet the students, because it will change your view on what medical school can be like, especially compared to some of the other medical schools out there.
Oh gosh. So this year I've taken part in the Medics Review, which is a show that the medical students put on every year based around a franchise with a theme of medicine. It's a show completely for charity that raises a lot of money, but as well allows you to express your creative side, which sometimes in a really science-heavy course like medicine can be difficult to find an outlet for. So this year the show is based on Batman, The Dark Knight Rises, and my role is Robin.